as you can see, we're at an airport. Manchester Airport to be precise. Now, why are we here? Well, most people go on holiday, just like us, but our holiday's a little bit different. We've actually shipped the motorcycle out to Athens about 2 weeks ago, and we picked the bike up tomorrow morning, which is Thursday the 7th of June. So today we're flying out with EasyJet, and we should land in Athens about 20 to 10. We have a room in a hotel or apartment for tonight, and then we get a taxi tomorrow to pick the bike up. So hopefully you come along and have a look at what we're looking at. Oh, by the way, I'll show you the route of where we're going as well. Right, this is the route we're taking for the Balkans trip 2018. I'll zoom into each section and show you roughly where we're going. It's only a rough plan of where I'm going. This is Athens. I've booked a room for the 6th of June for one night in an apartment. I think it's a shared apartment, this, with separate beds, separate sections. We booked a room in one of these apartments called Urban Living, somewhere in the centre of Athens. Now, number one here is where we pick the bike up from. I can't pronounce the name, I won't even try it. This place here. It's in a warehouse. The bike's been shipped out a couple of weeks ago, and we've got the details of where we need to pick it up, so hopefully we can find it fairly quickly on the 7th of June, get the bike unpacked and ready for travelling towards Thessalonica. So we have one night in Thessalonica in a hotel, I think it's Rotunda. Let's have a look. Yeah, Hotel Rotunda. I booked that as well because I needed to book another night, because I know where we're going. The first few days we're actually at in Europe. So that's the next night, and then from Rotunda we go through the border between Greece and Turkey along this coastline here. Greece and Turkey borders here. We're going down to Gallipoli. As you can see there, we've got 2 nights in Gallipoli, and the reason I want to do that is because in 1915 this place was invaded by the Allies. The British tried to capture the Dardanelles Straits here, so they could then capture Istanbul, which was Constantinople at the time, and then make a passage through into the Black Sea here, and then carry on feeding the Russian army, who were the Allies for us at the time in the First World War, keep them in the war. Unfortunately, it failed. So I'm going to look at and pay my respects to all the people that died in this campaign. And from there, we travel along through into Bulgaria. We're staying around a place called, hold on a minute, Pasadaznik. Around their area, I think it is. That's where I'm not booked a hotel in there yet, but I will do the night before we set off from Turkey. And then from there, we will travel through Bulgaria, and we'll come to Macedonia, and we're going to spend a night in Skopje. Oops. Skopje, Skopje, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. One night there, and then from there we're going to travel through Kosovo, straight into Albania. Now, we're just traversing through Kosovo, so we're not going to stop there. Whether I do much filming there, I just don't know, but we'll see. So from there, these here, these 6 and 7 are just waypoints, and I'll show you the reason why. See how twisted that road is? This is hopefully biker heaven. If you ride a motorcycle, you'll understand what I mean. It's very, very twisty. Or it looks very twisty, I should say. Again, waypoint. It looks absolutely brilliant. Them switchbacks. I can't wait to ride it. And then the same day we're going into a place called, I think it's Skoda in Albania. We'll book a place around their area because it's very close to the border of Montenegro, which is the next destination. And again, I'm just going to travel through Montenegro into Dubrovnik. Now whoops, shouldn't have done that. Put back there. The reason we're going to Dubrovnik because we've been before. We've done the coastline, the Adriatic coastline before in Croatia. So I have some spare money, and I thought to myself, theoretically, it's a free night if I spend a night in Croatia. So I thought I'll ride to Dubrovnik, and we'll have a mooch round there for night. And then from there on, we're going to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm going to stay at a place called Sarajevo. I'm going to spend 2 nights in Sarajevo. The reason why that is because in Sarajevo, a gentleman called Franz Ferdinand and his wife were assassinated by a terrorist group back in 1914, 28th of June 1914. And they say that through this assassination, a series of events kicked off, and it was the start of the First World War. So from 2 people being assassinated, you end up millions of people dying. So I want to look at exactly where Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. From there, we're going to ride into Serbia. Now, I'm going to spend a night in a place called Novi Sad. I tried to get to Novi Sad a few years ago when I was riding a motorbike into Romania. And that summer, it had a lot of heavy downpour. And when we decided to go into Novi Sad from Romania, I looked up the weather, and the weather said it was pretty bad. A lot of the, I think, tributaries from the Danube are around the Novi Sad area. And the news came back that it was flooded, basically. So I thought to myself, I'll give it a miss this time, but I'll try to get in a future ride. So I'm hopefully going to go into Novi Sad this time and spend the night there and have a look round. From Novi Sad, I'm going to ride through Hungary. Now, I've been to Budapest before, so I've spent a couple of nights before there. Beautiful place. If you ever get a chance, go and spend a couple of nights in Budapest. It's absolutely lovely. And I'm going to Bratislava, or I should say Slovakia. Spend 1 night in Bratislava. The only reason I'm doing that is because when I went to the Romania trip, I actually missed out Slovakia. No reason whatsoever, I just completely forgot it. So I thought to myself, well, I've not done that country yet, so I'll just nip into Slovakia and spend a night in Bratislava. From then on, we're going to travel along into Germany. Now, this place here, number 13, is an ME-262 factory that was destroyed by the Allies near the end of the war. I've seen that before. I've not seen a documentary on it, but I've seen a few pictures, so I'm going to have a look at what it looks like, and no doubt I'll report back and I'll show you some videos of what's there and some pictures. So the ME-262 factory, basically the ME-262 was a jet fighter that was being produced by the Nazis near the end of the war. And this place here is where they built them. Either that, they built them or assembled them together. So we'll have a look at that. From there, I'm travelling through past Munich, and I'm going to go into Dachau concentration camp. I'm going to look at that and pay my respects to the people who were murdered there. We're going to spend the night around this area as well. The day after, we're going to travel down through Austria, just missing Liechtenstein and hitting Switzerland. We're going to a place called Benkin. Now we have a friend called Raymond, Raymond Viach and his wife Maria. And we made friends with Raymond a few years ago when we were travelling around Europe on the motorbike, and Raymond's a biker as well. He found out we were doing this trip and invited us down to stay at his house for the night, so I thought, take him up on it, why not? So that's what we've done, or that's what we will do, I should say. So we'll spend one night with Raymond and Maria and then travel on through into France. Right, we're going to a place here, another concentration camp called Nutsvallerstruthof. Now, this is the only concentration camp that was set up in France, and was set up for a reason. The reason they set this concentration camp up was virtually solely for resistance fighters and SOE agents, which is Special Operations Executive, which were trained by the British to go into and infiltrate into the enemy territory and try and disrupt what they were doing, basically. And what they did is the Germans decided that anybody they would catch, they would bring to this concentration camp, and generally they would just basically get rid of them without anybody knowing. So they'd sneak them in, murder them, and then people wouldn't know where they were or what had happened to them. And it's so they wouldn't become martyrs. But no, I'll no doubt tell you a bit more about that as we're going and looking around the site itself. The next night we're going down to Belgium and we're hitting this area here, Bastogne area. Now, if you're into the Second World War like me, a major battle happened here near the end of the war called the Battle of the Bulge, and there's a museum there that tells you all about the battle. So I'm going to look at that, and no doubt I'll report back on that one as well. From there, which was the night before we set sail back to England, number 19 is Ypres in Belgium, one of our favourite places. It's Ypres, Wipers, Lieper, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, there was major battles by the British in the First World War there, and it's they have the Menin Gate there, which if you've never been to Menin Gate before, I recommend you go and spend one evening at 8 o'clock at night, and every night since the 1920s, with the exception of World War II, that they did the last post there in commemoration of the fallen. Beautiful place. And then 20, it's just a few miles away, which is Zeebrugge. We'll catch the ferry, I think it's the 23rd, which is the Saturday of June, and overnight sailing back to Hull and then back to Wigan where we live. All told, about 17 nights. Everything's in place now. I've just got to get a few things sorted, put a small bag out to take on the plane, because we can't get the bike until Tuesday morning. So we've took a change of clothing and some stuff to give us a bit of a wash. I think I've booked a room in a hotel. It may be just a room in a house. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't matter anyway. So come along and hopefully you can have a look at what we see and what we get up to.